All right. This is a call to order. Good morning, members of the MAG Intelligent Transportation Systems Committee. This meeting is now called to order. For those. Good morning, members of the MAG Intelligent Transportation Systems Committee. This meeting is now called to order. For those around the table, please turn on your microphone when speaking. For those participating via Zoom, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. The MAG public comment process allows members of the public to comment on items on today's agenda or on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction. If you would like to comment at today's meeting, please fill out a request to speak card located at the counter to the right as you enter the room and give it to a member of MAG staff. If you parked in the garage, parking validators are also available on the counter. If you purchased a transit ticket to come to the meeting, please see a MAG staff member for a ticket. We will now begin the meeting with a roll call of all members.
Tony Abbo, City of Glendale.
This is Ruben Lopez, City of Glendale, sitting in for Tony Abbo.
Thank you, Ruben. Susan Anderson, ADOT.
Good morning, I'm present.
Hugh Bialk, City of Goodyear. Micah Henry, City of Mesa.
Here.
Alyssa Dahl, City of Chandler.
Good morning.
Albert Garcia, City of Surprise.
Good morning.
Sergeant Michael Hunt, Arizona Department of Public Safety. Hong Ho, City of Scottsdale.
Here.
Kieran Jordan, Federal Highway Administration.
Present.
Bruce Littleton, City of Phoenix.
Here.
David Lucas, Maricopa County Department of Transportation.
Here.
Steve McKenzie, City of Peoria.
Present.
Eduardo Rodales, City of Maricopa. Marshall Regal, Town of Queen Creek. Raquel Schatz, City of Apache Junction.
Online.
And Ward Stanford, City of Avondale.
Yes, good morning.
Mike Sutton, Town of Gilbert.
Present.
Kathy Hollow, City of Tempe. John Kraft as proxy for Chris Wanamaker, Pinal County.
Yes, good morning. I'm here.
Thank you, John. Tessa Wessel, City of El Mirage.
Here.
John Willett, City of Buckeye.
Present. Good morning.
Trusong Zhu, Arizona State.
Present.
And Marty Zeig, Valley Metro.
Present.
All right. Have I missed anyone? All right. With that, Mr. Chair, we do have quorum.
Thank you. Our next item is a call to the audience. This is the opportunity for the public to comment that fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda or that are on the agenda for discussion and not for action. 15 minutes will be provided for the call to audience agenda item. Oh, that's unless the chair, requests an exception to this limit. Have we received any cards for this?
We have not received any speaker cards for this item.
Thank you. MAG also provides the opportunity for members of the public to submit written comments via the MAG website. On June 9th, 2023, changes were made to the process for accepting and sharing written comments from members of the public not attending in person. Any comments received 2 hours prior to the meeting have been shared with the committee members in advance of the meeting for consideration and will be included in the formal meeting minutes. Staff, have we received any online written comments for the call to audience?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have received 2 written comments for the call to audience, which, as you said, have been provided to the ITS committee members in advance of the meeting for consideration, and they will be included in the formal meeting minutes.
Thank you. So each of you should have received those. If you haven't, please contact a member of MAG staff. MAG Senior Transportation Project Manager Jeff Jank will review recent ITS activities and upcoming agenda items for other MAG committees and other related regional ITS matters. Turn it over to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, member of ITS committee. There are 3 items on my report today. For the first item is an update from the Federal Highway Administration. And I'd like to invite Mr. Kieran Jordan of the Federal Highway Arizona Division.
Thank you, Jeff. The bipartisan infrastructure law established a SMART grant program with $100 million appropriated annually from 2022 to 2026. The SMART grant program was established to provide grants to eligible public sector agencies to conduct demonstration projects focused on advanced smart community technologies and systems in order to improve transportation efficiency and safety. The fiscal year 23 application is open and closes soon on October 10. I also just want to clarify that Arizona has its own SMART grants program, but this SMART grants program refers to that of the federal level. Next slide, please. The Biden-Harris administration opened applications for the Electric Vehicle Charger Reliability and Accessibility Accelerator Grant, which will provide up to $100 million in funding to repair existing but not non-operational electric vehicle charging infrastructure. The fiscal year 23 application is open until November 13, 2023. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Kieran. The next item, I would like to provide an update on this ongoing call for project for the FY 2024 traffic signal optimization program. As you all know, that the call for project was released September 6th, and it's gonna due tomorrow, and on October 5th, and it's noon of October 5th. So today at the ITS, we will be hearing evaluation methodology proposed for the TSOP projects selections. And I would like to ask all those who submitted a project or about to submit a project to mark your calendar for the next ITS committee meeting. That is November 1st, that there will be project presentation, that each project will be given 5 minutes to discuss and then receive comment from the peer agencies. And then it's gonna take a while for we get the policy committee approval before we could develop the task order. And the project kickoff is still expected in February time. And we have up to June 30th to complete the project. Yes, thanks, Margaret, for reminder that we might, so there is one additional time point that we have to add to this chart that is in December, that the ITS would be actually approving these TSOP projects by applying the evaluation methodology to be approved by the policy committee. Right. Next slide, please. While we're on TSOP, I would like to thank all of the member agencies for your continuous support on the TSOP. TSOP program is well received and is actually trying to make direct impact to the transportation operations. And we have continuously evolved to better provide our service to the regions. As you know, that currently we offer 3 type of projects. The first one is a full optimization. That's what we call the traffic signal retiming. It includes the data collections and development of the timing plan, tweaking it, implementation, and then the final evaluations. The second option that we offer is for some agency who has the in-house capacity of developing timing, and they would choose the data collection only, which our program would only pay for the turning movement count collections. The third option is the newest, that is just for the offset optimizations. As we know that the signal operation, there are really 3 parameters: split cycle length and the offset. And the offset concern the progressions along a corridor. So this option does not have the data collections, but we will use this WaveSync device and actually conduct the travel time run. And that device gonna tell us where the offset might need to be adjusted. So that's the 3 type of project, but we continuously listening to your need and telling us, how we could better provide our service. Next slide, please. Finally, I would like to provide an update of all these ongoing projects. First, we still have 2 FY 2023 TISA projects, but they are in the final stage. One in Buckeye and Maricopa, that's a combo project. The other one in Avondale. The second project going on is an interesting study that aimed to develop a regional strategy for the connected vehicle. And as you know that the region has made a great stride being the pioneer of the connected vehicle research led by McDOT, ADOT, and others. So this project meant to develop some sort of regional synergy and the governance when we could all work together to provide a guidance on the technical as well as operational guidance. So the project has been kicked off in August, and in October, the main activity going to be the peer agency interview, and peer agency is nationwide. There are other regions similar to MAG region that has experimented with the connected vehicle. And then there are a few other main activity that the member agency could choose to participate. Agency survey, we're going to be providing a review of where we stand and where the market is in terms of connected vehicle technologies. And then in that agency survey, we will solicit and assess the agency's readiness for the technology. And then there will be a final agency workshop sometimes in March. And then the project expected to complete in June. Mr. Chair, that concluded my report.
Thank you, Jeff. Please contact Jeff after the meeting if you have any questions regarding his report. Item number 4 is the approval of the minutes for the Intelligent Transportation Systems Committee held on August 2nd, 2023. Does any member of the ITS committee have comments or revisions to the August 2nd, 2023 minutes? Have we received any public comment cards on this?
Mr. Chair, we have not received any public comment cards on this item.
Thank you. Hearing nothing from the group, we haven't, and not having received any comments, we'll go ahead and request, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the August 2nd, 2023 ITS committee meeting?
Move to approve.
We have a move to approve from Bruce Littleton with the City of Phoenix.
Chair, this is Micah Henry, City Mesa. Make a second.
All right, we have Micah Henry who has seconded that motion. We will have those participating in the meeting online now take part in the voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. We need to see the faces of everyone to participate in the voice vote. This is to speed up the voting process. For those who cannot or do not want to turn on their cameras, staff will conduct a roll call vote. Staff will only call on those virtual participants who did not turn on their cameras. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote so that staff can count the people's names whose cameras are not on. So with that, can I have a voice vote of those in the room and those online with their cameras on? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those in favor, say nay. Okay, hearing none. MAG staff, can you take a roll call of the members participating virtually who did not turn on their cameras?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We only need Hong Ho from the City of Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It looks like you have Brandon up there as well.
Steve
He's
Mc-
not a vote.
Oh, he's
Can
not.
you-
Okay, there we go. And I don't know whose number that is, the other one. All right. Was there anyone who was not allowed to vote? Okay. With that, motion to approve the meeting minutes has been approved. Sorry. Item number 5 will be presented by MAG Transportation Performance Program Manager Ted Brown. This item is on the agenda for recommendation of approval. And Ted's setting up right now up front, so give him just a second.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the ITS committee. It's a pleasure to be here today to talk to you about our TSOP evaluation criteria. If I could get the next slide. So why exactly are we here talking about TSOP today? I'm sure you're very aware that we have a responsibility to implement performance-based planning and programming practices. This takes us a step closer to that direction. It also brings us into consistency with our other modal calls for projects. And finally, it gets us prepared. My understanding is the last few years, we've not exceeded our available funding, but should we will now be prepared to evaluate those projects. Next slide, please. A couple of quick notes about prioritization and evaluation. When the planning and performance program takes on or reevaluates any of our competitive processes, we try to keep these 3 principles in mind as we do so. First being consistent region-wide data. We want to ensure that whatever quantitative data we use is regionally available and of consistent quality region-wide. Next, we want to have a transparent and repeatable process. I am not a fan of black boxes. We want to make sure we are being as upfront and clear about how any quantitative scores are being calculated or derived. And lastly, we want to use thoughtful qualitative criteria. So running the performance program for many years, I love a solid quantitative evaluation. However, I'm not blind to the fact that if you only use quantitative data, sometimes you get projects that nobody's really interested in. So to counter that, most of our evaluative tools use some form of qualitative section as well. We want to be really, really thoughtful in both the construction and implementation of those qualitative questions to make sure that it's adding value to the overall evaluation. So without further ado, next slide, please. Let's walk through the evaluative tool that we've developed for TSOP. We have 9 total questions, 5 quantitative, 4 qualitative. We'll touch on the suggested weights, and finally, I'll walk you through a very quick example of how it works in practice. Next slide, please. So quantitative first, we have 5 questions here. The first being, is the project on a regional priority arterial? This is a binary yes/no question that helps us better integrate our TISMO efforts into our TSOP efforts. One note on this item, the RPA methodology incorporates safety as part of its development. So we did not include that elsewhere. However, we have bumped up the weight, as you'll see, to incorporate that. Next is the project on a critical urban freight corridor, another binary question. This is a locally developed and federally recognized designation. Next up is the project on a transit line. Again, another binary question, yes, no. The next one should look familiar. What's the last known year that the signals were retimed? You'll recognize that from the application. We've implemented this by scaling down. So if you retimed your signals last year, you get no points. 2 years ago, you get 1 point, so on and so forth. Anything before 2018, and you're going to get the full points here. And finally, what's the peak period level of travel time reliability? Will be calculated using all the legs of each intersection submitted. I should note that MAG intends to provide the responses to all of the quantitative questions. That burden will not be on the applicant, with the exception, obviously, of the signal retiming, which is part of the application. Next slide, please. Switching over to the qualitative questions, we've got 4 proposed questions here. These have been developed to give the evaluators a chance to weigh in with their professional expertise and judgment. The first one being, does the project meet the stated goals of the traffic signal optimization program? I think that one's fairly straightforward. The second one, in your opinion, will the proposed project provide real-world improvements for the surrounding area? Now, we've intentionally left improvements somewhat nebulous, as we realize those can come in many, many forms. But the general tenor of the question is really, will this make a difference, a positive impact? Third is, has the applicant highlighted unique attributes or circumstances of this project that are not adequately captured by the quantitative data elements? Now, while I like to think our data is infallible, sometimes there are things that we are just unable or haven't been able to capture with that quantitative data. And so this gives us a chance to rectify that. We've provided a few examples here. You know, maybe there's just a ton of schools nearby. Maybe it has some really unique geometry. There's something unique about it that we can't quite capture. Here's your opportunity to weigh in. And finally, has the applicant supported the inclusion of this project by noting existing regional or local plans which highlight the need for its selection? With this question, we're again trying to tie together or bring synergy to our holistic planning efforts in the region. Now, I believe for the qualitative questions, these are things that you can address either in the application or in the presentations that will be given to this body before the evaluation is done. Next slide, please. Now, sticking with the qualitative for just another minute, so we can talk about how we operationalize these questions. The first 3 about goals, effectiveness, and attributes all get a 0 to 3 scale. So they all follow that kind of pattern in the example there. It meets all, many, some, or does not meet any of these. We've obviously changed the wording a little bit to fit the question, but I think you get the gist of how they're laid out. The last question is about local support. That's a binary response. It's just a yes or no. We're not judging the quality of that support. On to weights. Next slide, please. So here are our suggested weights. We've landed on a 40-60 split. That's 40% quantitative, 60% qualitative. As a data guide, that hurts a little, but we have to recognize that for an exercise like TSOP, it can be very challenging to get meaningful quantitative data at an intersection level to judge these projects. You'll note that we added an extra bit of weight to the RPA, as I mentioned, for safety, and then the LOTTR is the data metric that's really carrying the water for the quantitative side, so that gets a big bump in the percentage as well. So let's run this through just a quick example to see how this works. Next slide, please. Finally, on the screen, it's a fictional project that is on an RPA, excuse me. It is not on a critical urban freight corridor. It is on a transit line. Signals were retimed a couple years ago. It's got a below average LOTTR. It meets some of the program goals, but it has significant effectiveness and significant unique attributes that make it a prime candidate for selection, but it doesn't have any local support. So that's how we would do the scoring. We would do some quick math with the weights to come up with an example score here of about 65. I should point out, getting 100 is impossible. It will not happen. We imagine most of the scores will fall somewhere in that 40 to 80 category, depending on how some of the scores break out. Next slide, please. Mr. Chair, this item is on the agenda today for action. That completes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Do any committee members have any questions on this presentation?
Hey,
Micah?
Ted, this is Micah with City Mesa. With regards to LOTTR, is that a MAG provided value? Okay.
That's correct. Yep.
I had one question myself, is when this new evaluation criteria will, take effect or whatever. Is it immediate or is it?
I'll defer to the
Today, we're gonna have an approval by the ITS, but then we will have to escalate through the policy committee for final approval before we can apply it.
On this year's application, there is, I believe, similarly worded questions on the back end of the application. Is the applicant providing that information on the application, or is MAG providing that information?
In the application form, we did list these criteria in it, and the quantitative part gonna be filled in by the MAG staff, and then the qualitative stuff you were asked to answer those questions. Thank you.
But they are subject to criticism by MAG, I'm sure.
I
just
just
had a
face the firing squad. when that
Constructive
happens,
criticism.
I had a quick question on the no local support. What is the local support again? Is that one question, whether they're, I don't know. I was confused by that. If you're submitting on your project, I would assume that there would be local support, but
Mr. Chair, members of the ITS committee, by that we mean, is it in any of the plans regionally, locally that give it extra weight for why it should be selected? You know, this is a high priority corridor for us. This is something that we've had long-term designs on, our general plan supports it, so on and so forth. So
Is any of that associated with funding as well then, like that local support? Does it relate to dollars or does it just relate to a plan?
plan.
Okay. Are there any other questions from any other committee members? Feel free to just start talking because I can't see you online if you do have any.
Mr. Chair, I would like to thank Ted for his continuous support to the ITS. As many of you who has been through the last TIF COFR project, you'll see those major changes that we did to the applications that we have been using test provision for evaluating those quantitative measures. And that compared to previously, we asked the agency to fill in a AATT value, for instance, which is non-scientific, unverifiable. So for that, I would like to thank Pat and continuous support.
Thank you for me as well. And I'm sure everyone feels that way. So with that being said and no other questions, is there a motion for recommendation of approval of agenda item 5?
Chair, this is Micah Henry with City Mesa. I recommend a motion to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
This is Marty Zeke, Valley Metro. I second.
Thank you, Marty. So with that, the motion passes. Oh, it doesn't pass yet, but sorry. We will have those participating in the meeting online now take part in the vote by turning their cameras on their cameras and unmuting their audio. For those who cannot do so or do not want to turn on their cameras, we'll conduct a roll call vote. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote. Can I have a voice vote of those in the room and those online? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. MAG staff, can we please take a roll call of the members participating virtually who did not turn on their cameras?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Hong Ho, City of Scottsdale,
Aye.
and Marshall Regal. The town.
Aye.
Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you, Chris. And with that, the action passes. It doesn't say that here, but all right. Next is item number 6, which is a report by committee members. Item number 6 is for information only. I would like to invite any member of the MAG ITS committee to report on ongoing ITS related project activities in their jurisdiction. We'll begin with those here in person, and then MAG staff will use the roll call sheet to request member reports from those attending virtually. Should I read this now? Oh, he is still here? Okay. You are still online, right, David? Maybe not. Well, when we get to it, I guess. Oh, he is. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and start with Marty. Do you have any report from Valley Metro?
Nothing new from Valley Metro this month, but we're looking forward to the TSOP process.
All right. Micah Henry, City of Mesa.
City of Mesa's advertised position for senior transportation engineer. So check it out and come work for a great city. That's all I've got.
Yes. Steve McKenzie, City of Peoria.
I've got several items to report on. We have an ongoing tip-funded adaptive project that had advertised. Unfortunately, the bids that came in were not acceptable. So that project will re-advertise in the next few months. We've also started the design on our next adaptive project, tip funded for Deer Valley. So we are working with ADOT and that's under design. We just recently procured kits as our new ATMS software to replace our legacy MaxView software that's no longer supported. And we are finalizing our North Peoria comms project that creates a redundant loop through both McDOT and ADOT right-of-way, as well as replacing a number of core switches and about half of our field switches, and also doing some fiber splicing. We will have a 10 gig network ring when we're completed in the next few months. And that's it for us.
Nice. Thank you, Steve. Albert Garcia, City of Surprise.
Morning. Couple updates regarding some corridor improvement projects that we have currently under design. The first one is Cactus Road improvements. Project limits are from Reams Road to Cotton Lane. That is at the 95%. We are expecting construction to start late this year. That will have not only roadway improvements, but also include the installation of ITS infrastructure, as well as new traffic signals and the upgrading of some interim traffic signals along that corridor. The second corridor that we are in design is actually three separate designs that are being done in unison with each other, is the 163rd Avenue corridor. We are designing the ultimate roadway from just north of the BNSF Railway, north of Grand Avenue, up to Jomax Road. That project is at the 60% design. The intention is for it to be funded via a upcoming bond that we have on the election next month. If that bond does pass, then we will have the ultimate funding for that entire project, which we would look to kick off sometime in early 24.
Thank you, Albert. Bruce Littleton, anything from City of Phoenix?
I'll echo on Steve that we're also looking to change, and we are also going to go to kits. We'll be doing that over the next couple of years, making the transition, but the first project we're kicking off through the University of Arizona. There will also be the build grant that will further expand it, and the downtown DTMS. So hopefully within the next 2-3 years, we'll be fully converted. But we have started the process, and we did pick kits as well.
Thank you, Bruce. Was there anything else from either MAG or from FHWA?
Nothing further from FHWA.
All right. Just as you're here, I figured I would ask. I'll go ahead and go for the town of Gilbert. We do have quite a few projects going on. I would say the ones that are the highlight, I guess, right now that some people may be interested in is we're in the middle of design, if you live out there, for the beginning of the design for working with ADOT with trying to improve the on-ramp right at Santan Village in the 202, which is Greenfield or whatever, because there is a bit of a backup there. It has gotten slightly better since we've opened, Lindsay, but we do know that there's still more to come. So we are working on those improvements. That's an internal project, but we do have some other, projects coming up that are, we're funded as well, through this committee and through federal funding, ADOT. And that is where we're procuring, some camera equipment, a few PTZs, also some fiber mapping software, along with an ATMS project. And if you are interested in any of those, you can see the posting, through ADOT. The fiber mapping project may not be posted just yet, but it will be soon. With that, we'll go ahead and move to those committee members, who are online. If you can help us out with that.
Sure thing, Mr. Chair. We'll start with Ruben Lopez from the City of Glendale.
Hello, everybody. Kind of similar to the other agencies, we have several new signals in process of design. 4 new signals on Saraval Avenue between Glendale and Northern Parkway, and also 4 new Hawks in various locations in the southern part of the city. And those designs are ranging from anywhere from 60% to 100%. I believe 2 of them are at 100%, and looking to begin construction on those in the spring. We also have 2 flashing yellow arrow projects coming up with a total of 15 locations, also in various locations throughout the city. One is to begin construction in March, and I believe the 4th phase, we're continuing into the 3rd and 4th phase, and those should be complete within the next 2 years. And that's it for Glendale.
Thank you, Ruben. Susan Anderson, Arizona Department of Transportation.
Hey, good morning, everyone. As you know, John Roberts retired a little while ago, so that left us with a vacancy. So today I'm very pleased to announce that we have filled that role. Our new ITS technology and data manager is Kevin Doobie. So please welcome him, as you'll see him starting to attend several of our meetings. That's our good news on our side. So thank you all.
Thank you, Susan. Hugh Bialk, City of Goodyear.
Nothing for Goodyear at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Alyssa Dahl, City of Chandler.
Nothing new from Chandler. Thank you.
Hong Ho, City of Scottsdale.
So City of Scottsdale just advertised the RFP for the signal equipment upgrade project along within 2 miles of Loop 101. And so this include the detection system, cabinet, controller. So yeah, it's right now it's open, and we're going to have pre-bid meeting, I think it's tomorrow. So I will keep everybody updated. Thank you.
Thank you. David Lucas, Maricopa County Department of Transportation.
Yes, I have a few updates to share. First is that our ITS devices and communications equipment contract, which has cooperative language and was recently expanded to include several new device categories, should be available within the next 30 days or so. We're just doing the final preparations for that. That will be a 5-year contract with annual renewals, and additional devices and vendors can be added if any of our local agency partners want to see some of those kind of changes. Just please reach out to me. But this is a major expansion of this contract, which sees quite a bit of use from our local agency partners. A couple other updates. We recently signed the IGA with the City of Scottsdale for the connected vehicle deployment along Hayden Road. It's going to be part of the Loop 101 mobility project. That is going before the Board of Supervisors on October 18th for final approval. We're wrapping up the solicitation, and a procurement will be going out this fall for the connected vehicle equipment. Similarly, there's a intelligent transit and freight signal priority project, which include various other agencies as partners, including the City of Phoenix, City of Tempe, City of Mesa, and ASU Transit. And that solicitation will similarly be going out this fall. We recently received, in partnership with Arizona DOT, a AID grant for the
deployment and institutionalization of smart work zone devices. So that's continuing the efforts that both agencies are working on in this area. And finally, staffing changes. We recently have a job posting out for a new network engineer, an ITS network engineer. We're expecting to make a decision. We're finishing interviews this week and should have a new person on board in that role by the end of the month. And also for those who maybe haven't already heard the news, there's a new opening for a director for the National Operations Center of Excellence. As you may know, Faisal Salim was previously in that role. He is now working for FHWA in their research division. So just wanted to pass on that news. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next, we have Marshall Regal, Town of Queen Creek.
Yeah, no update, Mon.
Thank you. Raquel Schatz, City of Apache Junction.
No updates from Apache Junction.
Thank you, Raquel. Ward Stanford, City of Avondale.
Just a couple new signals we brought online recently in this past month, one at Thomas and Avondale, one at Harbor Shores and McDowell Road, and one at Avondale and Lower Buckeye, which will go into operation tomorrow morning. If by chance anybody is in this area for the next couple of months, McDowell Road between Avondale and 119th Avenue, which is about a half-mile stretch, is pretty well tore up. We've got a lane going in each direction, but we have a lot of congestion in there. So take that into account if you're out this way. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Kathy Hollow, City of Tempe.
Yeah, I don't have much of an update, except that I do want to send out a big thank you to Mag and Ryan Gish for helping us with getting some fiber in where it was broken along a short piece of Elliott Road between Elliott and our first intersection and the freeway. So really appreciate that getting done. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. John Kraft, Pinal County Public Works.
Yes, good morning. We've got a couple of flashing yellow arrows going in that is being funded by funds through this committee. And we're also working with Greenlight Traffic Engineering to submit one of those TSOP projects. Hopefully we'll be able to improve Hunt Highway traffic signals there. They were retimed a couple of years ago, and so we're going back for that TSOP application. And that's about it right now. Thank you.
Tessa Wessel, City of El Mirage.
No update from El Mirage.
John Willett, City of Buckeye.
Nothing new. Oh, actually, I did have one thing. I've added 3 bodies to my group, so I might not be so overloaded and I can actually be more productive. So we have Anissa Gerard came from ADOT and then 2 internal lateral transfers. So other than that, nothing new to report.
Thank you, John. Dr. Shusong Zhu, Arizona State University.
Yes, so first of all, thank you for all the committee's members' support in offering the guest speech. Next year, we have Dave Lucas. This year, we have Marty from Valley Metro and Michael Hunt. So we do appreciate all the support. The second ongoing agenda in our ASU here is we try to be better connected with the community for graduate student training. So we're talking about try to just build a new course, have many staff from our team here to teach and to really just bring in real world application and a solution to the classroom. So this has been ongoing, particularly with some support from the City of Phoenix, from Simon R. Ramos, and just keep you updated. If you're interested with any small case study, let us know. For example, this weekend, we are going to visit Sedona together with the ADOT staff to do the signal retiming over there. Thank you.
Thank you. Have I missed anyone online for reports by committee members?
Thank you, Chris. With that, I do have one other, and well, a couple of things that I just wanted to mention. One was thank you for everyone who did participate in the ITS Arizona conference that recently happened. You know, it was, you know, successful, and the reason it's successful is because of all of your contributions and participation in that. But we do have another opportunity that's coming up. ITE Mountain District will be working with ITS America, RX Global, to heavily promote next year's conference and expo here in Phoenix, giving it is within the boundaries of the Mountain District. So just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that as well. With that, we'll move on to item number 7. It's for information only. Do any member, oh, I guess I just did that. Item number 8. The next meeting of the MAG ITS committee will be held at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. Attendance in person is encouraged in the MAG second floor Ironwood room, and virtual options will be available. And as discussed, you know, earlier, you know, please remember that that is when we're going to be giving presentations on those projects that you submitted on, you know, for retiming or counts or whatever. So if you can't be here, please designate a responsible person to, you know, do your 5-minute presentations for each project if possible. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up? If not, then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.